This weekend, some of the fittest athletes on planet Earth are going to go head-to-head at the Mayhem Classic. It's the first in-person qualifier for the 2025 CrossFit Games. And with men's and women's fields featuring some of the biggest names in the sport, as well, sadly, as some notable absentees, there are likely to be some unexpected performances and perhaps an upset or two on the cards. I think it's going to prove to be a wonderful opener to this CrossFit season proper. And in this episode, I'm going to give you the competition vitals, the what, the where, the when, as well as my picks for who has the best shot at winning and what to watch out for. So, the vitals. This weekend, Saturday and Sunday, the 5th and 6th of April, we have 2 days of stacked CrossFit competition. The Mayhem Classic has no teams to fast forward through. It has no community division filling up the schedule. It just has 20 elite men and 20-ish elite women competing for 2 spots each at this year's CrossFit Games in Albury. Now, I love the fact that this first qualifier for this year's Games is coming from somewhere, from someone who is as deep into CrossFit lore and legend as Castro and the ranch themselves. It's Rich Froning and CrossFit Mayhem. And I've got a feeling that if you're not the sort of person who felt a warm sensation deep inside when you saw Rich Froning stripping down to his star-spangled boxer shorts almost during 25.1, then perhaps finding a Hyrox video is best for you. But that's what's happening this weekend over at CrossFit Mayhem, 2 days of intense elite competition. So who is it that I think is going to rise to the top and make it all the way to Albany through Mayhem? Well, on the men's side, first of all, it is hard to look past Austin Hatfield. Austin Hatfield is a Mayhem athlete, so this offers him something of a home turf advantage. And he's someone really who is still growing in the sport. We like to look back over the stats, how people have performed in previous competitions, how they've performed against other athletes. Austin Hatfield is someone whose numbers are only getting better. Qualified for the Games last year, he did very well on a couple of events, won the last 2 events at the CrossFit Games. He's recently nearly won Wadapalooza. He is someone who is on the up and up and up. So put that together with the fact that he's a Mayhem athlete, they train him as they're going to test here, it's hard to think that anybody is going to beat him. The next name that I'm going to pull out of the 20-field roster is that of Jason Hopper. Now, Jason Hopper is someone I would label as being one who has a lot to prove. Jason burst onto the scene. He won a CrossFit semi-final years ago, but he's never really nailed it at the CrossFit Games. He's always been there or thereabouts, but never like the superstar that he gave that promise and that potential to be. That being said, he looks happy, he looks healthy, he looks buff at the moment. So he's got a lot to prove, and I think this might be an opportunity for him to really put his name back out there again as a contender for a podium spot at this year's CrossFit Games. Now, my one to watch, if they're my top 2 to throw also into the mix, is James Sprague. He is the reigning fittest on earth. Whether you're happy that he won that title or that should be what you call the person who won last year's CrossFit Games, put those things aside, he has done it. He's come back and he's won Wadapalooza. And again, he is someone who seems to be on that Hatfield up and up trajectory. It feels weird not to mention Roman Krenikov, although I think that having been injured for so long, there's got to be question marks over his ability to train. And I no longer really think of him as a top 3 potential guy, but certainly as a top 10 potential guy. Now, what about the women's side? There have been plenty of withdrawals on this side, sadly, including a couple who have withdrawn so late on that there hasn't been any scope to replace them. So there are 18 women taking part. And I really hope that Alexis Raptis is healthy enough to get the victory she is absolutely fit enough to claim. Alexis Raptis is a beast. There's no getting away from that. She spent a real decent amount of time wearing those leaders shorts the year that Tia didn't turn up for the games, and she has got to be a podium pick again for this year's games. So I think Alexis, as long as she's healthy, is going to come out on top at Mayhem. I also think that Abigail Domit is going to show up. She's won a CrossFit semi-final before, last year. I think this is her level where she can really shine. And given the field that she's up against, I would be very surprised if she wasn't there or thereabouts come Sunday evening. And if we're going to have just one more name to mention, then we really do need to look at Emily Roth. Recent CrossFit Games credentials, she got a podium last year. Regardless of that, she always qualifies. She's always very solid, but there is a massive question mark over her and her ability to move the barbell, which is going to be used for heavy Isabel, and will end up accounting for 15 to 20% of the total score at the CrossFit Mayhem Classic. So men's side, Hatfield and Hopper with a shout out to Sprague. Women's side, Raptis, Domit with a shout out for Rolf. Saturday and Sunday, it's going to be over on the YouTube channel of CrossFit Mayhem. They're free streaming the whole thing, and it's a competition which, in spite of all of the withdrawals, still has a stacked field. So who do you think is going to crush it this weekend? I'd love to hear and to read your predictions in the comments below, but let's all be honest for a moment. The thing that we want to see the most is more and more of Rich Froning being the absolute GOAT and just leaning into this space that there currently is in CrossFit for someone to look up to, someone to be a leader, someone to cherish and to enjoy. I think we're going to keep seeing some seriously good reels, satisfying CrossFit reels from Mayhem and their social media team, and there's going to be plenty of that classic, old school, Rich Froning personality on the broadcast too. So if you're hyped for this competition, if you're hyped for the season, hit like on this video, subscribe to my channel so that you can see other updates that I'm going to be doing before the other semi-finals as well. And CrossFit Mayhem team are doing so much for CrossFit at the moment as a sport. Please do make sure you go over and watch, and you do a little for them by giving views to this competition. Okay, looking forward to watching and analysing and arguing about all that happens this weekend at the CrossFit Mayhem Classic. Peace.